So we got a couple of weeks before the big game, Auburn versus Baylor. Normally, this wouldn't really be a big game, but it is because there's so much at stake at this point. All right, Auburn fanatics, this is the podcast with Vernon Speaks Sports Auburn. Down in the deep south, college football is king, and on the plains of Auburn, the battle cry is War Eagle. Things are starting to heat up with this game, Auburn versus Baylor. Here's a couple of reasons why. One, it's going to be the only game. Labor Day weekend, college football really kind of sort of kicks off. You got the week 0 beforehand, but man, you got a Friday night game in Waco, Texas, and arguably the game of Hugh Freeze's career. He's had a lot of big ones. This one, in my opinion, has to be a statement game for Hugh Freeze. Now, here's a couple of reasons why. Hugh Freeze and his staff, they've done a great job recruiting in a lot of areas. They feel like they've shored up the offensive line. They feel like they've done some things smart-wise as far as running backs. Now, we don't necessarily know who the main guy is going to be, but I like Damari Alston if he can hold on to the football. He has great vision. He has great footwork. And he has the ability to be a multiple carrier in the SEC. And then you also have Jeremiah Cobb, who is in that same, stratosphere. He's got some experience now, a junior now, you know what I'm saying? He was very highly recruited, a speedster out of Montgomery, Alabama. And, they want to use him in packages to where, you want to get him on the edge. But I like Damari Alston because, he can do some things in the middle. And, through the A gap, C gaps, he can do those things for you. And he can keep defenses honest. And I'm looking forward to him doing that. But as we get closer to this game, things get a lot more, cerebral and complicated. Because I would go on and say, you know what? If Auburn would have gone 8-5 last year, like they probably could have, we may not even be having this conversation. But because they didn't, now we're having it. Right? Got to have the conversation now. You put yourself in a bind, I think, Hugh Freeze wise, unnecessarily, because you did everything you needed to do. You recruited well. And you had a great group of freshmen last year that performed well. There were games there that, you make a different decision and you got a different outcome. You know what I mean? But now, the pressure. The unnecessary pressure. But I think Hugh Freeze has to understand that there's no room for the unnecessary pressure anymore. And here's why. You have, great recruiting classes, and you're starting to build that this year. You made some recoveries. You got some, recruits that have come along. And There's no reason that Auburn has to continue to live in the area of mediocrity. And I don't think they should. Now, I'm going to do a video before the season starts. And I know there have been a lot of preview videos about, the predicted record for Auburn. A lot of folks are kind of hanging around that 8-5 area. Some on the high end 9-3. And we'll see how that goes. But I just think that Auburn has to finally get to a point against a team like Baylor, who I think is a good football team. But you face good football teams every week in the Southeastern Conference. I was going to talk about the debauchery of, the Big 12 and talking about how Baylor's going to blow Auburn out. I'm not even going to do that because my guys at War Report did that already. So there's no need for me to rehash that energy. But I just think Auburn has to get to a point where this is not a game that you struggle against. You just got to go ahead and beat these guys and come on back to the house. Like the video, comment, and subscribe. And as always, it's great to be an Auburn Tiger, War Eagle.